And this is Michelle, bringing a very full screen coverage today. Normally I use the messaging box and everything else, but today I felt like doing a full screen coverage of Monster Hunter World. I also felt that the other thing is the sound quality of my video last night, running for about an hour. I'm sorry you didn't really hear Rena. It was just me talking, and after a while, I just got tired of talking. So I do have to put it out there that there's not really very much going on. I actually want to just do up a couple things here, make a couple of key pointers. Of course, right now I'm doing the solo gig as far as like Monster Hunter World goes. And as you know, the other person that was actually last night, Rena, being part of the game with me, it was becoming well, anyways, sorry about that, I just scrolled for a second. So, what's gonna happen is, of course, I'm sitting here on my live broadcast. So right now, there's really not very much in depth to cover. I'm trying to wake up here and there. Kind of like hoping that at some point we'll have like another event coming. I hope that the next event that does happen, I'm praying to God that we actually get something good. But I'm gonna touch up on something real quick before I say anything else. Not anything to do about Monster Hunter World. My personal feelings of everything that's been going on, and so much that has happened with the gaming and everything else. There's really no need to be like, I have to say something in about what Starman had showed up just recently. Yesterday I saw his video, and I have to agree with Starman on certain aspects of what he's, like religious views and stuff like that, and at the uncertain times, and some people who live in USA, which is now considered a third world country. But I normally try not to talk about the ins and outs of what's going on. My personal feelings are, it goes back to my wine and chocolate kisses video back on Saturday night. Also, another thing was interesting is that, it's like I said before, we're all human. At the end of the day, really, we all bleed red. This bullshit going on. We have a retarded president in office who obviously doesn't know anything about foreign policies. And then on top of it, we have a neo-Nazi Republican who should be freaking ousted for the comments he's had just said today. And I don't want to bring it up into my Monster Hunter World game. This is like a thing I'm trying to, today I'm trying to enjoy Monster Hunter World. But my political views are starting to show, and eventually I'm going to get very vocal about how I feel with the way the current administration has been going. I think, my personal feelings are, I love video gaming. I love Monster Hunter World. I actually love Monster Hunter World more than anything. But my political views to where they stand, I'm really not happy with all the shit that's been going on. So, without that being said, not trying to spark an argument, but my whole personal feelings are everything that has gone on so far in the upcoming 2 years. There's an article, just want to put it out here because we have a traitor-in-chief. The thing is, like, people can deny it, people can talk shit about it, but, you know, like saying that, oh, well, you know, well, we're gonna just, you know, keep sanctioning Russia, but you know what? You can't sanction Russia that much. That's an excuse saying that you're too lazy to fucking impeach a president who's a traitor to the country. And this whole bullshit that went on with the summit on Monday, it's gone to the point where I had enough, you know. I mean, I can't just say I want to get up and leave the country, but I think that if, in my personal opinion, and there's an article, I think it's section 2, chapter 2, section 5 or some shit like that, which is a very valid point, because if a president's caught picking a side with a foreign country, with a dictator, the president's presidential position is already over. And in truth, if a president is caught siding with a foreign dictator from another country, the president's entire administration would be considered null and void, and also would be removed. And sadly, I don't like mentioning this shit onto my stream, you know, especially on Monster Hunter World. There's no reason for it. And as far as like this whole neo-Nazi BS going on, I mean, this also goes back to my personal opinion about how I feel right now. I'm tired, you know, I have to, you know, every day, you know, and it comes down to it, and people don't realize, you know, how much longer can you really put up with a treasonous, you know, a traitor-in-chief who's just created so many treasonous acts and war crimes against the against the American people and other countries around the world, which to me, it's, you know, let me put it this way. I'm playing Monster Hunter World, and a video game versus real life are two different things, but when you know, when you try to, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that people have come onto my channel at one point prior to my broadcastings, or even during my broadcastings. I have always had that, you know, scrutiny, and people ask if I voted for either Trump or Hillary, and my answer was no. I never have voted once I mean, I voted, but it was for, you know, Obama back then, but but the thing is, my whole thing, I didn't vote this time around because I felt that either way you look at it, I mean, everybody would blame somebody over something stupid. Well, that's kind of like two guys fighting over one girl, you know, case in point. But what I'm trying to say is, I mean, if, you know, this bullshit, this hate, all this misogynist crap going on, you know, people attacking the LGBTQ, like on Facebook yesterday, in Portland, Oregon, of all places, it's been very, it's just disheartening, you know, how certain people are not really willing to be like full-grown adults here and act like a bunch of 5-year-olds, like the mentality of the traitor-in-chief that we have in the White House. The other thing I also want to point out, last night there was a big rally, not rally, but it was a big protest against the traitor-in-chief, only because he has sided with Putin. The summit, you know, he lied his way through everything, and regardless whether if you voted for him or not, I mean, in a way, the educated people have a better advantage over this whole mess. The educated people have a better knowledge of how to deal with a traitor. Um, for me saying that traitor, I mean, I haven't. I'm thinking back to the 1950s earlier. Well, if some of you are wondering what can happen to somebody who's causing treasonous acts, my whole thing is, if some of you have not really read the history books about what happened to the Rosenbergs, because what happened with them within, the early, I'd say about the mid 40s to somewhere in the 50s, the Rosenbergs were American citizens and were actually convicted of treason and giving intelligence to the Russian officials. What happened was, when the Rosenbergs came back to the United States, they were met by the FBI, and they were taken into custody. And therefore, after that point, they were tried under criminal convictions, and they were actually sentenced to death. Now, why I'm saying this now about what happened to the Rosenbergs back then is because we're seeing this happen now, when it happened between the timeline of the mid 40s to the 50s, where I see it as now Trump siding with Putin over this whole thing with the summit. And it's going to happen to Trump that because he's done serious war crimes, inflicted so much damage against the Constitution, violated every statute of the Constitution known to man, insinuating the hate, all the hate going on right now with this country. And now we see the day after the summit, when he went there in Germany, now the top Republican leaders have now backed away, actually broke away from him. Now, it's a tall tale sign that when somebody who tries to be a dictator, who's trying to pull off this stupid shit, it doesn't work very well. And I don't want to add insult to injury, but people who, not all one percenters, but there's a few one percenters out there who actually voted for this retard in office, the traitor in chief. My whole perception of this thing, with anybody saying it, his time is coming, his time is done. He's shown his true colors. He's brought so much hate into this country. He belittled our democracy. As far as all this finger pointing goes, it's not going to solve anything, because really, the people who had voted for this person, who are so anti everything and not letting nobody, attacking black people like it was in the 1960s, went back to the past to the 1950s, when gay people weren't even allowed to adopt. And what I find that, for me, if I play like I said, if I play Monster Hunter World, it's supposed to ease my mind. But as you can tell, a lot of this bullshit that goes on is so disheartening that, well, it goes to show how very ignorant some people can be when they vote for somebody who's a traitor, who actually has been siding with Russia. And on top of it, you definitely know that Putin's got something over Trump, because if, it's really funny how you really think it. Now, everybody thinks how diplomacy is going to help, with helping with the Russians, Trump being in bed with Putin and shit like that. It normally doesn't end very well. And my personal opinion about this whole thing, and this goes back also not just to the rich people, but to the religious zealots who are actually doing more harm than good. Now, I used to be a born-again Christian, or, well, I actually was a born-again Christian many years ago. But having that freedom of religion, going to different religions and finding out what worked, what didn't. So, in my common law marriage back then, I had an ex-wife who was a born-again Christian. Now, hey Karina. So when my family, well, not my family didn't like the idea I joined up as being a born again Christian. And the problem with being a born again Christian is you're more blinded by the false prophesized bullshit that they tell you in the Bible. The same thing if you're a Christian. You get blinded by the Bible and you think that everything has to be all like holy and stuff like that. And there's some Christians who actually take it too far, becoming heretics, to where they think that they think by reading the Bible continual is going to help you, you know, redeem your. I hate to say it, but some Christians are kind of worthless when it comes down to really understanding how God created man and how created God everybody in their image. Where some Christians are so ignorant, they think that, oh, well, God just created Christians and everybody else doesn't apply to them. Well, you know, I have so many, you know, friends who are different and they're not even Christian. I have, you know, I have one hell of a fucking, you know, life that, you know, I don't see everybody being different. I see everybody as being the same. And whether some of you people may not like my comments about, you know, attacking rich people or attacking the trader-in-chief or attacking whatever, you know, if this is something that offends you, I'm sorry to say, but, you know, it's the truth. I know it sucks when the truth is out there and it hurts, but, you know, as far as like this bullshit going on with detention centers in Texas, stripping kids completely naked, you know, actually, no, not just kids, stripping the kids and their families naked, starving them to death. This isn't, you know, America wasn't founded on fascism or Nazism. And what some of these KKK members and neo-Nazis think is like, oh, we want to have everything all white power again. Well, yeah, the problem with having a white power, it runs a double standard. Some of you, you know, some of us who remember back in the 90s, you know, there was all this false accusation that, oh, guys are far more better than women, and, you know, fuck the women, they're fucking, you know, pigeons, and, you know, and it went back and forth, you know. It's kind of like the double standard again, like it was in the 90s, but only worse. And this bullshit about ICE, you know, detaining, you know, pulling people over, you know, who are already legalized citizens of the country, you know, and speaking Spanish, well, okay, well, so, you know, ICE must be one hell of a miserable bunch of people, because if somebody is already a legal U.S. citizen whose family came here from Puerto Rico or Mexico, and you're talking Spanish, and ICE comes along and they assume, oh, well, you're an illegal immigrant, that's bullshit, because you know what? I mean, I'm actually, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'm part Brazilian. And if I go out and I talk to somebody in Spanish, and some retard from ICE decides to fucking try illegally search me without any paper, you know, illegally searching me without any warrant, you know, and it goes to the other people, you know, the lesbian couple out in Portland, Oregon, looking for a dog, you know, though they weren't speaking Spanish, but still, this half-twit, brain-dead wonder child starts assaulting them, threatens them verbally. And then this crap that went on. Look, I'm a person, before I go any further into this, I am a person with utmost and sheer equality for all of my Puerto Rican friends, all of my black friends, all of my Asian friends, all of my European friends, all of my South American friends, you know, and I'm going to say this perfectly well and clear. I believe in equality more than I believe in separating people and separating other people. You know, not it's not the point of, well, then it was that, well, me, I'm a person that treats everybody equally as how the good Lord puts it. You treat everybody as the same as equal. You don't fucking do this hate, misogynistic, and racial bullshit, because that is not going to get you far in life. And you know what? As far as anything, way before, like in my 20s, I've dated different people from different backgrounds, whether if it was a guy or a woman. And to be perfectly honest, never had an issue with either one. I mean, if arrogant people are so blind by their bullshit, then you shouldn't even exist. And this goes the same thing with the uneducated neo-Nazis and the KKK members, because you know what? They're on borrowed time as is. They're so fucking butthurt because, oh wow, they didn't believe in the equality that a black man can be president. Oh, well, they didn't believe in the equality that what Obama did was right and everything that was good, giving equal rights to anybody and anyone. So, for you to vote for a traitor-in-chief, in my opinion, is something that, okay, well, if you're gonna vote for a traitor-in-chief, that means you're just as big as a traitor as the traitor-in-chief. I prefer to watch my friends. I like to be there for my friends. I like to support them. I like to support the ones I love. And if some people are so ignorant to see that, it's the same thing. Like I said, going back to Monster Hunter World. I play Monster Hunter World because I do it for being there. I'm an equal person who helps out anybody from Japan, China, Brazil, Germany. I'm there for these people. I'm not there for, I'm not gonna let fucking Trump's traitor-in-chief bullshit try to get the best of me, when I know exactly who I'm with and who I can really trust and relate to. I mean, I got a question for some of these fucking neo-Nazis and KKKs and these Bible-thumping assholes who think that they're trying to make America all fucking white and religious. Let me tell you something. Actually, let me ask, is what's going to happen once, Trump and Pence are both removed from office, because Trump is already considered now, or classed as now, as a traitor? Well, let me tell you the answer for this one. Now, because now that Trump is going to be found guilty for being a traitor to America, what's going to happen is Trump and Pence are going to be null and void. So what's going to happen to their sky god is he's going to be facing a lot of jail time, possibly for treason. It would probably be a lifetime sentence. Now, what's going to happen is that happens, once the blue wave hits and this shit happens and Trump and Pence are gone, they're removed. You know what? I am not gonna cry that they're gone, because I didn't vote for the fucking assholes and never did. I never liked Trump because of a lot of reasons, and my family knew of Trump for a very long time. However, it's not the question of liking or disliking somebody. It's just the fact of the matter is Trump has no business skills of any such. And my whole thing is, this is just the way I feel. But, I know I'm going off track. It's supposed to be about Monster Hunter World, Michelle, Monster Hunter World, but this is more important. I felt that this is something I had to actually iterate on and say it is what it is, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. And to me, I also think that having, a very good equality stance for me to have friends who are of different color, different race, different background, because that's how I am. God made me to embrace different people. Not to say, well, okay, I'm going to wear a MAGA hat and, piss people off. I wouldn't even do that. I mean, I have my principles, but as far as like a traitor-in-chief, you know, and I'm gonna put it out here, I'm gonna solely say this to all my fellow friends who are out there, from my black Puerto Rican, to my black friends, my Puerto Rican friends, to my Mexicans, to my South Americans, to Australia, Ireland, Japan, Saudi Arabia, China, pretty much all over the world. And I'm going to say this because those who end up watching my video, I want this video to be shared out to everybody, but to those who are watching this video or who have not subscribed to my video, understand that I love you all, and a true American shows a lot of love for these countries, because you know what? Some of these countries were our allies, you know, in previous wars, World War I, World War II, you know, the Iraqi War, you know, Operation Desert Storm. And for letting an orange Cheeto bastard come in, you know, by lying his way into the presidential office, is a sign of weakness, because he knows he wasn't going to win, and I knew that Hillary was supposed to win, not the orange traitor-in-chief, who obviously has no concept, no grasp of what human life really means. You know, if he wants to act like Adolf Hitler, he can go have his own little island where he could take his little, what's left of his fucking base, and go over there. And he can have one that's called Trumptopia, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, or maybe Cheetotopia for all I care. But the thing is, you know, I'm at that point in my life where it's like, I don't really, you know, I should say I don't give a fuck. But, the truth of the matter is that I want to see a utopia, more of a unity, you know, between different people, together, you know, band together, just getting rid of this fucking retard in office. Because Trump doesn't belong in America. He belongs with Putin in his bed, sucking his dick. And yes, I did say it very bluntly. And you know what? Let his fucking goon squad come after me for voicing my own personal opinion. Because you know what? At the end of the day, what's he gonna do? Hit me with a Cheeto? And with fucking Europe now, they're gonna send the fucking man-baby balloon? I hope this guy gets what's coming to him. You know, I will say this very briefly and very quickly. You know, it's like I said, you know, share this video, because we need to finally get rid of the traitor-in-chief. And I'm going to say this to Robert Mueller, because you know what? I think Robert Mueller is doing one hell of a job of investigating this slime ball that we have in the office. And if Robert Mueller at some point watches this video, I want to let him know that I'm happy to be a real-blooded American, to stand up for everybody, you know, not just me, but for the LGBTQ, for the immigrants, for the people who are having a hard time with this white trash bullshit going on with the white supremacists and the KKKs. They're the real terrorists here. You know, and I have to give a huge shout out to Bernie Sanders, because you know what? I'm going to say something here, and this is going to go without saying, and I'm going to praise Bernie Sanders, because I think Bernie Sanders is doing one hell of a job along with Robert Mueller. I mean, different case scenario, but the thing is, it's like I said, I love this I actually love this country. I was born here, in the 70s, and I know exactly what the country's real values are, what the Constitution actually means, and dictatorship is not on the Constitution. And I hope that many people who watch this video understand that, you know, this country is about the actual real Americans, these southern people that live all the way down south, these these people that fucking claiming, oh, we're the true patriots. No, you're not. Because if you were true patriots, you wouldn't be discriminating against anybody of color. You wouldn't be saluting Adolf Hitler. What you're doing with Trump is also is so disgusting and distasteful that even I wouldn't even call you Americans. I think any member from KKK to neo-Nazi is very unpatriotic. And my personal opinion, so what? If you have an issue with me, say it directly to my face, because I guarantee, if anything, if I say boo, you motherfuckers are gonna run. So, and it goes back to this fucking comment back on Saturday night when I was actually live streaming. And this person comes on. I don't remember the person's name, so just bear with me here. He starts going on saying, talk in my normal voice. Well, you know what? That shit ain't happening no more. If I was even still remotely who I once was, that motherfucking shit ain't gonna happen. And I will, the next person who ever comes on my channel and tries to say anything that's not cool, it's like I said, I will humiliate the shit out of you. And it's going to become perfectly more and more relevant. So anyways, to end this note, please feel free to like, subscribe, and please, for the love of God, share this video if you need to, because we need to get rid of Trump. And so this way I can enjoy my Monster Hunter World once again. And the other thing I will say, thank you, Karina, yeah, that's right. Thank you, Karina, for for being here, being on being my being one of my mods, and hopefully, hopefully you and Starman can actually be there. But yes, so stay tuned for another video, which is not going to be anything political, because I just had to say my piece. I want to go back and enjoy Monster Hunter World. Until then, this is Michelle saying, peace, love, happiness. Treat everybody with respect and equality. And if you see anybody causing any type of ruckus or any type of problems with somebody who's of different color, different background, just in general, and trying to give that, and anybody giving them shit, please stand up against them. We need to put an end to this hate, and and I'm going to do the same, because I think that everybody, me personally, I think everybody deserves a chance, whether if they're, they were born here or not, born in America or not. We need to be stronger and, support one another. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please listen to the Doobie Brothers on YouTube called Taking It to the Streets, and you'll understand exactly what that song is supposed to mean. So anyways, this is Michelle saying peace, love, and happiness. Chocolate kisses and chocolate hugs. So, I'm out, and I will talk to you later. Well, I shouldn't say talk to you later, but I'll be airing later on. So peace, and bye for now.